Is my hair, do I need to change it again? I need to go to the bathroom and change
I'm
it
gonna start praying it falls out, man.
Don't tell whoever it is that was praying for you to fall out. I'll tell you what, they'll pray for me a couple times and that'll be it.
No, it's just genetics.
Welcome to the Every Dad Podcast. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors, Sola Coffee Bar, What's Up Media, and Highland Park Baptist Church for all their support in doing this right here. So, we just want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm going to turn it over to Ty Clark. Ty is kind of the brainchild behind this thing. Bro, you've been thinking about this thing for a little bit, right? You've been thinking about it for a year.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a little bit. Why are you doing this podcast?
So first of all, I think it's really cool because like even when I sit here and think about just being in this space and like really that one night I had all 4 of my kids playing on the playground at the church and I sent you a text. I was like just thinking about kind of fatherhood and thinking about some different things for this next year coming up. And so I in fact, I can go back. I looked back at the text where it said, literally, I just texted you and said, hey bro, let's start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it, first of all, really cool because you were like, what about? Like you weren't like, no, or maybe, or like whatever. You were just like,
I think I said, what are we doing?
yeah, what are we doing? Whose car are we taking? And
You're
so
his yes man.
you were
That's
in
it.
from the
That's
very
it.
beginning.
I mean, obviously,
and,
I'm the good-looking one here. You know,
everybody's got
you're
their
the
roles.
brains behind the
Yep.
operation.
for sure.
We got our famous.
I love
boy
that
here.
I'm being labeled as the brains.
Sorry,
because we're gonna find out very
And then
quickly
we
that
got
that's not true. But no, so anyway, so like we were just thinking about like, man, okay, so originally we wanted to create this kind of space, and we knew that there were a lot of things that were in our lives that we wanted to just talk about, not because we're experts, but just like let's start talking about some stuff and using some of the everyday things that we deal with in ministry or as a dad. And so really kind of just through the process of prayer and like refining, it's been really cool to see how all of this has kind of come together. And like honestly, even for Blake and for Rob and even you, like just the way that all of this has really kind of just taken off.
Well, because
And-
we're all dads. Let's clarify that, right?
So-
like we're all dads. Like I've been married for 25 years. I have 2 boys. You have
I've got
4.
I've got 4.
4
Yep.
boys.
And you start
12.
you start talking about sponsors. I feel like I should like just start and just go.
Hey.
My wife is the real hero because even
That's
right
right.
now she's at the house and she's taking care of the kids so that this can become a reality and a possibility.
for sure.
And so
And Blake's a brand new dad. How old is your baby?
Go.
She'll be basically 4 months in a
Yeah.
couple days.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Baby dad.
Baby dad. And
4
then
months.
Rob's got 3 on various ages. How long you been married?
10 years.
10 years.
10
So-
years and 3, 5, and
so you
kinda-
got 2 in the house plant stage. That's really there's a while where the kids are like
Yeah.
they don't really do much. They eat, they poop, they sleep,
Yep.
and
We're
that's
doing
kinda
tummy time though.
that's
We're at
kinda
that
it.
stage.
Yeah.
tummy time. I remember tummy time.
So, like, I mean, and that's what I appreciate about this particular
Yeah.
moment. Like, we're all different stages in life, different parts of being a dad. We've all been through things, working through things. We want to learn,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
like we don't have it all figured out, but we're learning. So I appreciate your
at
heart
all.
behind this.
For sure.
And,
Well, for me, that's what it was. It was different. Like I work with you, we work alongside each
Yep.
other, we dream together. So you came with this, but it was just something different. You started
Right.
talking about all the different pieces that were coming together, and like Ryan's seen a kid all the way through. Basically, you got an 18-year-old, Blake, new dad, 4-month-old. Like
yeah.
man, there was just something special about it from
Yeah.
the get-go. And like
And we're really
you're
cool.
passionate. What?
And we're really
And
cool.
we're cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
okay.
three
Hear
of
me
us
out
are.
though.
3 of us
and
are.
this is
I'll
just
be the
going
lame
straight
one.
back into the
That's
conversation. No, this is like even going back to the conversation about being a dad though. I have I think that I'm cool, but my kids already don't think that I'm cool. Like I'll make a funny video and I'll be like, in fact, the other day, Rob and I made a video for something that we were doing. And I go home and I'm proud of it. And I'm like, Liam, Judah, come look at this. Daddy made a funny video. And they look at it and it was like, where's the funny part?
Yeah,
there was just nothing that, so they were,
Same thing.
they definitely don't
They'll
They
think
will
that I'm
inherit
cool.
your humor eventually.
I hope,
It'll
man.
happen.
No,
Yeah,
they, whatever. But No, so anyways, it's just been super cool to see how this has happened. And honestly, I think the reason why we landed on fatherhood, Ryan, and then ultimately I want to talk about too how Blake and Rob, just how this whole thing got together. But we landed on fatherhood because, again, like you said, we don't have it all figured out. And when I think about my responsibility as a dad, when I think about the weight of my responsibility as a dad, and then just to be honest with you, like in the conversations that I'm having, because I'm a dad, it's kind of cool. Like, when you move into a different stage of life, you start to surround yourself with other people that are kind of in that life stage. And so as I'm having conversations with dads, like the majority of the conversations are just around survival. Like it's like there's really no conversation, or like about, man, like we want to actually try and get really, really good at this thing.
Yeah.
But it's more so just like, all right, man, we made it through another day. Like, whew, like, man, I just did everything that I could to keep them alive today.
Yep.
And you take that and you transfer that into really anything else in your life. And that's not, a really accurate measurement, and that's not the standard. It shouldn't be the standard. It's not the standard at your work. Yeah, it's not the standard for any hobby or any skill or your job. I mean, anything. And so the conversation, I feel like is, and one of the best quotes that I think I've heard on this is, it's actually C.S. Lewis. He talks about how children aren't a distraction from your work.
Right.
They are the most important work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so really wanting to kind of create a space for, look, we don't have it all figured out. My oldest son is 5, and so what do I know about, having kids ultimately,
and that's the
which
thing,
is why
like,
you're here.
Yeah, thanks. But like, we want to, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the thing. Like, we want to be able to start these conversations on, hey, here are some things that we are trying.
Yeah.
And here are some things that we're trying to work through. Like, yeah, we love Jesus and we want to model that in our families. But yeah, I mean, we're still trying. Yeah, my kids are 18 and 14, but I still have no idea sometimes what's happening.
For sure.
One thing I'm excited about here is I think there's some built-in accountability.
Yeah.
So just the fact that we're even trying this,
Yeah.
I have no idea where God's going to take this thing or how far it might reach or who will hear this. But like, you guys are all ministers and I'm the baby Christian of the group, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that I found really helpful is when I got saved, it's like I got to get involved somehow because so I do this devotional once a week with a group of young kids, and I've just noticed that even being responsible for that and showing up just makes me be a little bit more accountable, because if I go there and I don't have certain things cleaned up in my life, like it gets really hard. And you guys know this as well as anybody. So I think likewise, new dad, try to figure things out. Let's show up, just have these conversations. It gets really easy to kind of tuck away in your little hole in the house. And like you said, just kind of get by. But I want to take this thing to a different level, and you guys have plenty of experience that I can learn from. And the accountability part of that is what's really important to me.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, at the end of the day, like if, and obviously we're super excited for where this thing might go, but at the end of the day, if this, and I think it will, like you said, with the accountability piece, like if it's helping us sharpen one another to become a better father, better husband, and think more intentionally about the time that we're given with our kids. I mean, on the one end, yes, my oldest son is only 5, but on the other end, this is crazy. And I started thinking about this and it blew my mind. On the other end, he's almost a third of the way to adulthood. And that really, like, when I thought about that, it just added this extra sense of urgency that every single day,
bro, I'm
matters.
there.
Yeah.
And you're already there.
My first
Look
thought
at
was
that.
like, I don't know if I like that. And
I'm
then you're
there.
like, wait, you
Like,
got one.
You're already there and you
Yeah.
have more style than all of us. How does that work?
Well, I don't know about that, but like sure, good point. I'm there. Thanks for
Well, already just getting to this point.
I'm here all day.
Just getting to here and talking about it, leading up to this, like, it's already made me evaluate, like, myself and the dad that I am and the dad that I want to be. Where am I right now, good and bad? And like, if I'm going to talk about, I want to practice what I preach. You know what I mean?
Right.
No doubt.
For
So
sure.
just already evaluating that.
And I know that we kind of talked about this a little bit, but like, if we look at culture right now, moms have taken the lead in the household.
Yeah.
And that's scary, right?
Yep.
That, Like the dad should be the one.
Wasn't designed that way.
Right.
Yep.
And the dad should be the one leading. And so whenever, you talk about how you had this dream a long time ago, and we've kind of pieced together some things, but man, just in the last several weeks, several months, just kind of looking at this, like there are so many things that we are going to be able to talk about. And what I love about your spot, you say you're a baby Christian, baby dad, but like what we know of you and what you said, like you aspire to be that lead in your household.
Not to cut you. I've always wanted to be a dad. I don't really know. We went to a baseball game back at UF this past year, and the director of baseball operations, who I'm really close with, he brought. I'm getting there. Okay. This will fit perfectly.
Blake Reese, ladies and gentlemen,
number 12.
Number 12
for the
I went here
Florida
way too early.
Gators. What?
The problem is my life experiences come from there. So, anyways, I went back to talk to him.
That's okay.
I thought your life experience came from
real.
me being 3 years older than you at the same high school. Did the time that I literally threw batting practice to you?
In a way,
I feel responsible for
you guys
your scholarship.
have fulfilled the dude code violation by calling me on that. So I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
That's a great transition, and then you're going to jump right back into it. We're all going to shut up. Yes, but this is, we have a jar. It's a jar.
Ladies
it's
and
a
gentlemen,
huge
the jar.
mason jar, and here's what it is. It's for dad jokes. Anytime a dad joke.
Dad jokes.
We are not doing dad jokes. If there's a dad joke, jar. All right? If you say something that we all think.
Money's going in the jar. Not just looking at the jar.
$5 is going into the jar.
$5.
Absolutely.
This jar was set up.
Make me broke. This is it.
exactly
Robbie's
what
going
this
broke.
jar-
We're all taking from. We're about to profit from his dad jokes.
Yeah, we're all broke.
All right.
I need to put my
Sorry.
cash
Sorry,
app
we
up
interrupted.
just to support the jar.
For some reason, I've always wanted to be a dad. When we went back to a baseball game, it was the first time I'd seen this guy in a few years, and he said, "You know what I'll always remember about you?" He goes, "I'll never forget when you came on your recruiting visit as a 17-year-old kid." And he said, "What do you want?" And somehow the conversation got to like, "What do you really want to be when you grow?" Whatever it got there, and I said, "I want to be a dad." So above anything else, like I just hope I get the opportunity one day to be a dad.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there with my wife, and he's showing us the new facility and everything.
You were married at 17?
No, this was this past year.
Okay, sorry.
We were there, and
I got it now. I missed the math. My bad.
It came up because we were there touring the new facility, and Ashley was pregnant at the time, kind of recently pregnant. And we were sharing it with him, and I think he was having a kid at the same time or something like that. And so it hit me. I was like, I guess there probably aren't a whole lot of 17. I obviously didn't want one then, but it's I was looking forward to the day where I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm here. So you think you have all this time to prepare and figure it out and read. And I did that. I mean, while she was pregnant, you know you binge on all kinds of information. Well, now I'm like there.
Yeah.
So I don't really have time to waste on, well, I'll figure it out, or I'll have time. Like, I'm living it. So I'm kind of in real time.
And let me tell you, it goes by. So my dad would tell me that all the time. You're going to get to the day where just time flies. I'm like, no, it won't.
Yeah.
It won't. Like, that's just an old person saying. Now I'm in that old person spot, I guess.
Yeah,
because
it's wild.
Like, dude.
You said it. I didn't know if you were going to say it or
shut
not.
Up.
You
like,
admitted it.
literally, we just moved here 10 years ago, and it feels like it was just yesterday. Where my kid was 8 years old walking into Panama City, and now he's 18, and he's like, "Dad, I'm going surfing. See you, bye."
Yeah.
You know,
so you got one shot at it, right? I mean, each kid.
Yeah.
You got one shot at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm there.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
I think that's, at the end of the day, I think that's it, right? Like looking at the time that we have with our children.
Yeah.
And there's only, you think about anything else in your life, there's only so much that you can prepare for before you just jump in and start doing it on a daily basis. And I think sometimes once we get in it, if we don't have that consistent support, we don't have a group of other guys that are really trying to make the most of the time that they have with their children, then sometimes without even realizing it, you can slowly kind of slip into this like apathetic, like just survival mode versus what our design was, which is to really have a fatherhood that's just filled with joy. I mean, it should be filled with memories. It should be filled with laughter. Like, yes, it's difficult. It's, you know, in some ways one of the hardest things that you do.
Well, life is difficult.
But life is
right?
difficult.
Like, it's just,
exactly. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be void of just an immeasurable amount of joy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited, man. I know that we got lots of things that we're going to be able to discuss and talk about and work through. Again, you know, I sit back and I'm sitting here going, well, I don't have it all figured out, and there's a lot that I've messed up on. I don't feel like I'm somebody that can just give a ton of advice to people out in the world about dad.
Right.
However, you know, I can sit here and go, all right, here's what I did wrong.
Here's what didn't work.
Here's what I did, Blake. Here's what didn't work. Like, let me.
That's good. Yeah.
Because I mean, we think about kids, but as a dad, like we gotta protect our wife too.
Yep.
Like we gotta show our kids what it's like to love and to cherish our wife, love and to cherish like family. You know, like so. There's so much that we're gonna be able to talk about.
Yeah.
So much that we're gonna be able to discuss, and I know that I'm looking forward to it. I know that it's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of information. So Ty, dude, I appreciate your heart and your vision behind this. Thanks for putting this all together.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here, for sure.
Yeah.
I know you guys have been maybe talking about it for a while, but this was kind of thrown on me pretty recently. So this is all happening really fast. But I'm glad I somehow got
Thrown on you.
wrapped into this.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool opportunity
I mean,
to be a part of.
yeah,
So.
you know, it just happens. Everyday dad. Nope. I said it wrong.
Should we hug? Everyday dad was taken.
Everyday
So-
dad was taken.
Hey, we're gonna keep it real from the jump. We're gonna keep it real from the beginning.
Dad, my
so
goodness.
if you go to Everyday Dad,
we were doing so good.
Yep.
Don't tell them to go there.
well, if you
Like,
go there
I
and you're well resourced, great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exist. So I mean, it's taken. But
you know, Every Dad Podcast.
Every Dad
all right?
Podcast.
Go.
And so
Should we hug? How's that?
no, we shouldn't.
No, I
I
didn't-
mean that's a jar if I've ever heard one. That's a
That is a jar. Yes,
the first one.
absolutely. Hey,
didn't
we'll
think-
see you next
I didn't think
time
we should hug.
on the Every Dad Podcast.